Hello there. Today we're going to be playing Tome Bound in Magic: The Gathering Arena Historic Brawl. This is going to be a pretty fun deck just because of all the exile triggers we can get. We're going to be running things like Goldspan here just because whenever we cast the card from exile, we get a treasure, so we definitely want to maximize on what we're going to be doing with those treasures. Goldspan's a great card to be getting out to make treasures and then also sacking them for twice their value. We have a few things like Grim Tutor, so we can go get answers if we need them, or just straight win cons. We like to go right into Apex of Power, once we have enough treasures to cast it. It just usually ends games and so much value on board. We love things like that. Portal to Phyrexia is in here just to keep some of those nasty creatures that our opponents run off the board, and then hopefully maybe even return them to our board if we don't have anything that we want to return. We got Blood Money here, really works well with Prosper, especially since we're going to be getting treasures for all the creatures that get destroyed. Usually we play this if we're playing against token decks or just really heavy hitters that we don't want to deal with. We got a Tali here, just a great 6/6 that has an attack trigger, so she doesn't even need to do combat damage for us to get her fun things to happen. On the smaller end, we just got, basic ramp, arcane signet, some interaction that exiles or destroys an artifact. Tybalt's Trickery, great card in this deck since we can't run many counters since we're not in blue. But yeah, this is just going to be some simple exiling stuff, good value. Let's see what we can do here. Alrighty, looking at this first opening hand, I'm not loving it entirely just because we only have 2 lands here. We do have that Fable of the Mirror Breaker, but if we don't get a land, we're kind of lost with that hand. This is not much better, especially since we don't have any black sources. Laylee has a great drop, but again, we might not be able to cast her, so let's try to mulligan one more time. This one's not too bad. We can go ahead and just discard this mountain. We have some low drops here, so definitely much better than the last hands. Fortunately, we will have to discard a card, but hopefully it won't matter too much. Our opponent here is playing Falco, a pretty good commander. He can use shield counters or counters of any sort, really, to look at the top deck and then remove one of those counters to play that top card. Let's go ahead and get this Scry out, see if we can... not really big fan of him right now, so let's go ahead and scry that to the bottom. See if we can get something a little bit more impactful. I think we're going to try to get this Phyrexia Arena out. First drop, unless we just draw into something amazing. Opponent plays a Grateful Apparition. Planeswalkers, Proliferate, fun stuff. So we don't have a 2-drop here. I think we'll save the Takenuma. Go ahead and just play this in tap. Let our opponent take their turn. Falco only needs 4 mana, just like Prosper, and since they were on the play and we didn't have any ramp, I believe they'll be getting their commander out first. Death Touch 1/1, not bad. Go ahead and take 1 from the Grateful Apparition. That's not bad at all. Let's go ahead and put this in as a black source since we have mostly black here. Go ahead and play the Phyrexian Arena so we can get some more card draw started. I have a feeling we're going to see Falco this turn. Maybe not. We'll see. Oh, we don't see Falco. So whenever he draws a card, this thing's just going to get bigger. And that's fine. It'll get even bigger on these proliferations, but once we get Goldspan out, we won't have to worry so much about this little flyer here. So since we didn't get a land, let's go ahead and play the Takenuma. See if we can get Prosper out on the field and see if he stays there. Perfect. One thing awesome about Prosper is that we do get treasures still from playing lands, since he does say whenever you play a card from exile versus cast. This guy's going to get big pretty soon, but thankfully Prosper does have Death Touch, so we can just block with him if we need to, but I think we'll just take this damage for now. Yeah, we'll definitely just take that damage. Let him get this snake boy a little bit bigger. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and play this mountain and make a treasure. And then I would like to save the return to action just in case he swings with this. We can block it and then just bring Prosper back. We can play the Copper Dragon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would put a little bit of pressure on him. I am a little bit worried about a removal spell, but it is what it is. I think I want to go ahead and get the Ancient Copper out. Let's see what happens. And then no attacks, and go to end step. Another lands. It's perfectly fine. Now, if he does swing with this, we don't have the mana up for return to action, unfortunately, since we got Ancient Copper out, but I think we can go ahead and just take a little bit more damage. Opponent goes ahead and gets his commander out, which is fine. He does have trample, but we'll see what he does. And he does have quite a few counters on things, so what we can do is obviously block the Grateful, and then this is Hexproof and Menace. I think we just take the other damage, see what he does. Alright, so no response on the death of his Proliferator, which I'm completely fine with. We'll go ahead and play this land here. Now I'm curious. I'm sure he's gonna block the Ancient Copper. Unfortunately, we can't really get rid of it at the moment. Let's go ahead and put Furious Rise out since we do have a creature bigger than 4. And then I guess we could do some setup, but I would like to keep mana up for the return to action, just in case he starts swinging with this 5/5. So let's see if he blocks with Falco. We can also Tybalt's Trickery if he has a way of saving Falco, but oh yes, that's right. Does Falco have a shield counter? He does have a shield counter, so we'll go ahead and just get rid of that shield counter, which is a-okay with us. I think we keep Tybalt's Trickery up and the return to action, so we can just pass on here. See what our opponent does, since they're only at one hand. They're only at one card there. We'll go and discard the Flame Channeler. I would like to get Goldspan out next turn. That's a great thing to be exiling. Thassa. That is something I would not like to deal with. So let's go ahead and just counter that. See what our opponent does. Much better. Would much more rather deal with that versus a Thassa and him bouncing things each end step. So he's gonna give this Hex Menace. Got Menace Hexproof first strike. That's fine. And he's not swinging. All right. Perfect. We love that. Alrighty. Now, do we have any more exile triggers? We don't. We could go ahead and play a land. Actually, I think what we do, let's play the Tempered Solitude. And let's play Goldspan. And then what we can do is just swing with Goldspan here, just so we can get another treasure, since that's just an attack trigger. We have quite a bit of mana. Or our opponent can concede. That works too. I'm assuming we had just too much value on the board, so let's just go to the next one and see what we can get. Alright, going into this next one here, it looks like we're playing against a ninjutsu type deck, so let's see here. This isn't a horrible hand. We got the Arcane Signet, and then we do have the 1-drop Exile. I'm kind of interested to see where this hand goes, so let's see what we can do with it. Go ahead and play a land. Pass the turn. Perfect. Nothing on turn 1 for our opponent. Usually, I know ninjutsu decks have those early drops, the unblockables, but I'm glad that they did not. Got 3 mana here. Was hoping this would be a land, but it is not. But there is a land, so we'll just go ahead and put this in as our red source. Play Prosper. Go to end step. Perfect. So he's going to destroy Prosper, which is fine. We'll go ahead and just return him to our hands. Take our 1. Go ahead and play this land so it doesn't get exiled. Can't play Prosper again, unfortunately. But we can go ahead and get Jaya out. go ahead and plus her up just so that we're not killing her immediately with these guys swingers, since these are unblockable. It does have hexproof too, which is pretty good. We'll see if they swing at Jaya. I don't think they care about Jaya too much yet. For -2. Oh, there they go. So that's fine. It's only 1 damage, unless, of course, they ninjutsu something in. There it is. All right. Jaya goes down to 3. And they're going to go ahead and destroy the little 1/1 we made, which is fine. I'm interested to see if they have another kill spell, which they could have. We could get Liliana here. Go ahead and make it 2/2. I think that's what I want to do instead of risking Prosper costing more. And there's the surrender. I'm actually really surprised there. They might not have had any more removal in their hand, and I assumed they were just afraid I was going to make them sack. I was just going to make a zombie, but we're not mad about that. On to the next. All right, game 3. We got 3 lands in hand, a lifelinker, Grim Tutor. Not hating this hand by any means, especially with the Grim Tutor. So let's see. Our opponent's playing rats. I would like a little bit of removal, but we can just search for it. Do we keep this? Let's go ahead and keep it. We can go and get that. Oh, that was not a keep. I accidentally mulligan. That's fine. This isn't that much worse. We still have that leech in hand, and then there's that destroy spell we were wanting. So we'll go ahead and keep this one. That was a little oopsie on my part, but Tybalt's Trickery, not bad. Go ahead and play a red source. All right, they've got a nice little defender here that gives haste. Can go ahead and play a lands. We'll just counter the commander once it comes out. There it is. So let's go ahead and just Tybalt's Trickery that. Put him behind a little bit at least. All right. Not a bad thing to Tybalt's Trickery into for sure. Gonna get smacked for 3 here, unfortunately, but that's okay. All right. Go ahead and play a land. 2/2. Go and get this guy out. We can always sack him to go get something later. We probably will destroy this guy. Rat Colony. Not loving it, but it is what it is. They're only swinging with Rat Colony. That's fine. We'll go ahead and just take it. Village Rights, no land, which is unfortunate. So let's go ahead and... Well, I guess there's really no point in swinging since we'd have to sack it anyways. I think what we do here is we just get rid of this guy, because I really don't like that his rats have death touch. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll give him a rat. And we'll take 4. Unless, of course, there's another rat that comes out. Alright. If we don't get a land here soon, we might be running into trouble. We could get rid of the drawbridge. We are at least getting removal. Chittering, which is a little bit annoying, but I think the drawbridge might be what we get rid of just because of that haste going on. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna go down to 2 here. Yeah, he gets his 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're gonna go down pretty low. But let's see if we... There's our land finally. But I don't think we have an out here since we do only have 1 health, which is unfortunate. But you do win some, you do lose some. That was just us not keeping... I feel like if we kept that original hand, maybe. But that's okay. we will just see what the next game brings. Alrighty. I like this hand a lot if we had a land instead of this Liliana. I kind of want to risk it, but at the same time, I know my luck's usually not the best in Arena. We are playing against potential counters, so you know what? Let's do it. Let's see what we can do. Because if we can get Lelia out, that would be pretty pogger, and we did get a land, so that's perfect. I think we hold on to Lucky Witness for now, because if they die early and we don't have mana to cast it, it's kind of a useless card, and that's happened many times. Opponent's gonna just consider. Blackblade Reforged on the battlefield, a great card. Don't need to worry about it just quite yet. Let's see here. Still think well, let's go ahead and just play the Unlucky Witness. I doubt they're just gonna immediately kill that. They might have some haste on board, so I'd like to use it as a blocker. Badger comes out. Alright. We'll go ahead and play our land here. Let's play Lelia. We can go ahead and swing with her. I highly doubt our opponent's gonna block. We will lose the Chromatic Lantern, but that's alright. At least hit our opponent for 3. Get Prosper out next turn, hopefully. Alright, they play a Chromatic Lantern. Must be nice. 1 blue up. I want to block here, but I don't think it's the right choice since we're not going to have enough mana to cast whatever, unless it's a land, but we will have to play a land in order to get Prosper out, so it doesn't make sense to really block with him. Let's see if our... Yep. Not surprised about that since we are playing against blue-red. We'll just go ahead and swing with Lelia again. In hindsight, probably would have been better to have swung with Lelia first since we did get a land. Prosper didn't come out regardless, but that probably would have been the smarter play, technically speaking. Crystalline Giant, great card. It's going to give it trample. We could go ahead and block here since we do have Lelia. I am kind of interested in blocking. Go ahead and get another counter on her. 2 more counters, actually. Actually, that's just 1 because it's 1 instance. Can't count. Let's see here. I think what we do is go ahead and play the Soul Shatter. They can choose between these two since they're the same cost, but I'm assuming it's going to be the Giant, which is fine. We could just hit for a lot, which I'm kind of down to do. We just don't have we won't have mana, but we can use the card on this one till next turn. So that's not bad either. But I do want to go ahead and just do this to try to kill our opponent as soon as possible since there's no blockers here. Perfect. Village Rites, lovely card. They go ahead and try to kill Lilia. We can just sack her and get some value out of her before she goes. Alright, they're going to Experimental Augury. Hopefully look for an answer, probably for Lilia here. Nothing to proliferate on their end, thankfully. If they don't have a lot in hand, I'm thinking they're probably going to equip the Blackblade Reforged, maybe. Still not going to be big enough to kill Lilia, but we'll see what they do. 3. If we get another land, we can get Prosper out, maybe, but we'll see. Alright, another source of mana. Pretty good. Alright. Resist Command. Gonna create a Power Stone and draw a card after scrying. And there's a Concede. Lelia was pretty fun to get out there. She's a great early drop, especially if she's not removed. But yeah, those were some fun games with Prosper. Thanks for stopping by, watching the video. Hopefully we'll be back again.